About to do a review of the newest Wicked movie. Last weekend, I was invited to get my electrolytes in me. Hydrate, get your electrolytes. But last weekend, I was invited to a premiere through TikTok to see the Wicked for Good movie, right? And so I've never seen any of the Wicked movies, and I've never cared about Ariana Grande like that. You feel me? But it was free, and it had an after party and some installations and whatnot. So I figured I have face mask in my hair. That's crazy. So I figured why not go check it out, right? So I took some notes while I was watching the movie, which is mad funny because there was a security guard and homie took his job serious. And I'm not, I'm not down talking it. It's just literally, if he saw a phone, he'd be like, and then just start walking that way, and he'd just stand there for a second. And so I was taking notes while I was in the theater, and then I'm not gonna lie, I started applying for auditions and stuff because, hey, why not? The time called. Anyways, I took some notes, and this is the first time I'm going over them, so I might have to stop and remember them a little bit. The first thing that I see is the song "Happiness," and I don't remember why I wrote that song down, but I do know this. In that song, in that scene, Ariana Grande's lips were dry as hell, dog. Like, I was sitting there and I just was looking, like the first 2 or 3 scenes, I was just like, who did this? Or who didn't do this? This being let her come on stage or on camera with dry lips, bro, and who didn't tell her they was dry, and who decided these was the clips that they was gonna take and keep? Because it's like, if I'm noticing this, I know somebody else noticed this. So that kind of pissed me off. I'm not gonna lie. Why is the star or one of the stars of the movie have dry lips, dog? That's crazy. And then the second thing I was thinking about once I realized that it was Ariana Grande and that she was the one who broke Mac's heart. Mac Miller's the GOAT, you feel me? One of my favorite artists, right? So I couldn't help but actually think about Mac after I saw her, and then I was like, dang, dog, man, I can't even watch this now because I'm kind of pissed because Mac's not here, man, and I associate you with Mac. And you could just draw the rest of the conclusions. I don't want to blame nobody or nothing. Place fault. I don't know nothing about their dynamic. All I know is you the one who had Mac caught up. We talking about Mac Miller ain't nobody iller. You feel me? You know Mac could pull hoes, dog. And so it's like, dang, this is who Mac was caught up over? This is who he was stuck on? God damn it, dog. Man, she must be special. And so I can't front. The first 10, 15 minutes of the movie, those are the only two things that I really had to say. Is wow, what's going on with this first song, Happiness? Wow, her lips are dry. And wow, this is the same bride that got my man Mac Miller caught up. R.I.P. And then I decided to lock in and really watch the movie, right? And so the next thing I had notes on is the first scene where we get to see the green wicked witch, right? And she comes flying in and she's actually trying to warn the people, right? And she writes in the sky and she writes that Oz lies. And instead, everybody reads he dies, right? And they get fearful. And I just thought about the distortion of messages and how that can happen in real life. And also how sometimes the things that are supposed to be for our good or the things that are trying to be for our good, they get flip-flop. You feel me? It's like someone is trying to tell you something good and you're looking at them as the enemy, and then the enemy is lying to you and you're taking them as being truthful. It's like, how often does that happen in everyday life? Crazy. And then my next question was, why is she green? Like, there was no other green beings. She had a sister, and her sister wasn't green. So why is this woman green? Can someone answer that? Is it answered in the first movie? That was one question that I ended up with because I'm like, bro, where are the other green people? And then the next thing that I thought was interesting was that the wizard says people will only believe what they want after they've already bit into something. And I was like, wow, that's so sad. Mainly because it means that even after you are shown signs that what you're believing might be fake or fugazi, you've already bit the apple, so you decide you might as well to continue eating it, as opposed to getting something better for you to eat or something else to eat. And part of it is like, I'm thinking like, why are people like that? It is because after we choose something, we don't want to be wrong. And so instead of accepting the new information, growing and adapting, we'll continue in the same way or manner just in order to feed our own ego and beliefs because we can't face the fact of us being wrong or not getting something right. And so I guess that for me is something that just draws me to make sure that before I choose a side, I do more introspection on why I'm choosing the side I am. So by the time I'm already convinced of where I lie, the truth is already out. So I don't have to work hard against myself to prove that whatever I'm supporting is the truth. But I think that's just evident. And then my next question is, why do so many of the songs sound the same or seem the same? Maybe it's just me. Maybe I just didn't appreciate the nuances of the music, but I just felt as if, I don't know, maybe the singers, I don't know what it is, but the only person whose songs seemed to be different was the Green Witch. Elphia, I believe is her name. You see, I don't even remember the characters. And maybe that was on purpose because she was, you feel me, switching up the status quo and trying to break through the noise. So her music was different. And if that's the case, I appreciate that nuance a lot. But at the same time, being someone who's appreciative of music and good music and also comes from a theater background, unfortunately, fortunately, however, and musical theater is something I had to partake in. It's like, where's the nuance? Where's the differences? Where's the switch ups? Like, keep it interesting. It seems like you just made them sing one song over and over with different words. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. But I felt like the music could have been a little more nuanced. And something that I thought was funny was Oz had a song where he was talking about the ugly truth and also talking about Elfia, which brings me back to the point of why is she green? Like, it just made his song so much more like funny and actually fitting, even though it wasn't like he was like implicitly talking about Elfia as opposed to the truth and the ugly truth, and he was the ugly truth and she was the actual truth, but she was ugly. Like, I don't know, I don't know. And this is again where I'm like, maybe it was just me being a little unfamiliar with the nuance of the story, but I did appreciate that little fact. But it still made me ask, why the fuck is she the only green person? Also, looking at the new Wicked movie and the Oz saying that people will believe what they want to after they've already been into something makes me just think about like public opinion and social media, and how after being presented with ideas in the media, we will take them for the truth, and then once life shows us otherwise, we'll still double down on it. And that's just like, why do we as humans sometimes have such a hard time course correcting and accepting the fact that we were wrong, could be wrong, or even at the least could be better or do things differently? I think that's one of the biggest things the movie just made me question with what they were implicitly saying is people need a lie. People need the bad in order to make room for the good. It is like, that's crazy. And the people who were in the kingdom were completely unbeknownst to any of the inner workings of anything that was going on. And that just makes me beg the question of how much of this movie is supposed to just represent real life status quo. And the fact that Ariana Grande is a celebrity in real life, and then in the movie she was pretty much flaunting as a celebrity who was in power or was some type of royal being who had no magic or no actual power, but the people trusted and believed in her. So they used her for all of their schemes and controls of power. And so this is going a little longer than I thought. I guess I'm going to have to do a part two. And then I'm also going to just post the whole video on my YouTube channel. So if you want to see the whole thing at one time, just go to my YouTube channel because this might take up way more than just one or two parts.